Hey folks, this is John with Fortress Training. We do a lot of training, have a lot of fun, but I want to take time in this video to do something, to talk to you about something that's very serious, and that's called firearm safety. If you don't get this down, don't touch your firearm. You need to understand the principles of firearm safety. I can tell you stories of where I've been on ranges where guns have accidentally gone off. Where people are almost shot. I was in a scenario once years ago. I've seen people get shot. I work with a nonprofit in South Carolina that it's called the MatthewBellamyProject.com. They're 501c3 and they deal in firearm safety. The reason is their 11-year-old son from a firearms accident lost his life. And safety is paramount to everything you learn, period. There's no aspect of firearms that's more important than firearm safety. So I'm going to give you 4 rules for you, 4 rules if you have kids. And these simple things will keep you safe when using a firearm. Especially rule number 1 is that you treat every firearm you come in contact with, every single one of them, you treat it always as if it's loaded. And if you'll do that, then you'll never be in a situation where you're like, well, maybe this is loaded, maybe this isn't loaded. No, it's always loaded. And you'll treat it that way until you can prove through 2 different senses that it's not. Maybe visual, touch, and then you can deal with it with taking it apart and breaking it down. Otherwise, you don't attempt to do anything with the firearm. So always treat them as if they're loaded. Second is the muzzle, the front of the gun where the barrel, the bullet comes out of, that part, that stays down. You always point the muzzle in a safe direction. Don't sweep people. Don't walk around with a gun like it's a hammer. It is a tool, but it's a different tool than a hammer. Always keep it down in a safe direction so you're not pointing at people. And then the one that most people violate, if there's one that people violate, it's this one. You know what it is? People always put their finger on the trigger. There is no reason for you to put your finger on the trigger of the gun unless you're going to use the gun. So a good thing is to keep your finger outside the trigger guard and don't touch the trigger unless you're ready to use it. And then number 4 is when you're going to use the firearm, know what's around you, know what's behind you so you can safely discharge that round. You're responsible where that bullet goes. If that bullet goes down a farm and hits someone next farm over, you're responsible. You need to know what's around and behind you before you discharge the round. So those 4 rules for you are simple. Always treat every gun as if it's loaded until you prove it's not. So every gun's loaded when you get it. 2, keep the muzzle down. Don't point at anybody. 3, keep your finger off that trigger unless you're going to use it. And then 4, when you're going to use it, know what's around you and behind you and where you're shooting that bullet. So those 4 things will keep you pretty safe. Now for kids, let me give you 4 little things. If you have 6, 8-year-olds, things like that, and they see a firearm or something, let me give you 4 rules they can learn very easily. You ready? Stop. How about that one? That's a pretty good one. Just stop, Junior. You know what rule number 2 is? Don't touch. Don't touch the gun unless we're around. Don't touch it. Rule number 3, leave. So if you stop, you don't touch it, and you leave, guess what's never going to happen? And these rules do get in their mind, believe me. Rule number 4 is go tell a responsible adult. And then that responsible adult can bring their education and knowledge into the situation and allow the child to learn a little bit, the adolescent to learn a little bit about firearms. They should. Hide them, ain't gonna do anything. Let them sit, but you need to be there. So those 4 things: stop, don't touch, leave the area, tell a responsible adult. If you can remember them and give them to your children, maybe a wonderful gift for them. Anyway, I want you to enjoy the use of firearms. I want you to get out and use them, but I want you to use them safely. So before you think about taking this tactical course and you're going to be a tactical shooter and all this stuff, master safety. Well, if you have any questions, you can contact us at FortressTraining.com. We always look forward to seeing you, and hopefully one day we'll see you in a class. Thanks again, and stay safe and shoot straight.